Hello guys, Ryan Goes Japan, and today's thought of the day is actually one that I think is very important for me, living here in Japan. As I've always said, been here about 3 years, and you got to eat. So food is like very important here. For those who come to Japan, so maybe on a month or maybe 2 months, and you stay in a hostel, or possibly you're living like door to door, staying at people's houses, or even if you come here and become a teacher like I did and you live abroad, if you like food, you're going to eat. Well, I'm going to share with you a very important tip that I was not told when I came here, and that is there is no seasonings for you to really use. There is seasonings at the store, but they can be very expensive, very costly, and they also only are very limited in range. And I mean this in the sense of, here's an example. So this is black pepper, if you guys can see this right here. This is just your plain average black pepper. This small container here cost about $2. So about 200 yen is what I paid for this. This is another very popular brand here. It's called Gaban, all right, which is a little bit more expensive. This runs anywhere from like $2.50 to maybe $3.50 at any, like, I would say foreigner store. They do have it in the regular store, but it's not as common, I would say. Depends on where you go. But these are very expensive too for this small thing right here. It's terrible. But me, I love seasoning. I like to cook and I like to save money. So one of my biggest things when I came here, I didn't have is seasonings, and that's to eat with my, have my food. So I adopted ramen as like my kind of go-to food. So I changed that a little bit. So what I did is I get a care package every couple months or so, for my parents. Say, look, I need food seasoning for my food, and I always go with McCormick. This is my favorite seasoning brand out of all time. I use this at home, but if you like your food at home, you like to cook burgers or steak or pork or chicken, there's a lot of sauces here, but not as many seasonings. So if you're gonna come here and you're gonna eat the food, it's gonna be different. But this is if you kind of want to cook your own food and you don't want to be limited to just salt. Every single food here has salt. I don't know if it's to give you a heart attack or what, but everything has salt. The ramen has salt. The gyoza has salt. Just about anything you eat in a restaurant that's the steak actually doesn't have salt on it. They don't even season the steak here. They put salt in everything else but on their meat, which is really crazy. I mean, pork chops, chicken, everything, nothing has salt. Even fries. Fries don't have salt on it here. You have to ask for salt. So I did the one about condiments. It's the same thing for salt. What? There's no salt? Yeah, you have to find your own salt. So if you come to Japan, and I'm going to recommend this to anybody who comes here or anyone who travels to Asia in general. If you're going to travel, keep a little container of like salt and your ketchup in your bag so you have access to it. Or in your suitcase or something, because for me, I like a little bit of salt on my food and a little bit of ketchup or a little bit of condiments depending upon what I'm eating. But I like my food seasoned. I like it to have a nice flavor, a nice fragrance, to be that mouth-watering feel. A lot of Japanese food, you will not get that, and it's really sad, and it's really it's discouraging when you go to cook here, because you're like, oh, where's the seasonings at? And the seasoning aisle, it's really small. It's like the area's super narrow, and you're like, oh, this is the season. Oh, there's nothing here. And it's really kind of lackluster in that regard, because you're like, I want that, and you can't find that here, and it's kind of sad. But when you're coming to Japan on a visit, or if you're going to come here and live here, find a way to buy seasonings overseas and have them sent here. Now, you're probably asking, oh, why? I can just order on Amazon. No, you can't. I've tried this. Amazon and Japan have a very strict policy in regards to overseas for seasonings and cooking things. So, and I mean, any kind of cooking seasoning, any kind of food, any kind of American snack food like Rice Krispie treats or Nutri-Grain bars, none of that can be sent here physically to Japan through Amazon. And that doesn't matter if you have a Prime membership or not, you cannot get it sent here. There is some form of embargo or something. I'm not exactly sure what the problem is, but they just will not do it. And I've tried. I ordered a bottle of seasoning I had to have it sent home and then resent here, which cost even more money. So it's a pain, and I like to cook, and I have a very small kitchen. So in that perspective, it's better that you get a P.O. box or something like that to kind of get it. I'll do another video about P.O. boxes because that came up the other day. I was thinking, oh, I need one of those, and that's kind of another issue too. So, but as always, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in and watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. Remember, always get your seasonings before you come to Japan. I recommend McCormick in America, cheapest stuff. It's not a sponsored thing. That's what I like to cook with. It's really cost effective, and it's not that expensive compared to, I mean, this is $2. This is $2. I mean, just price comparison wise, it makes sense to get something a little bit bigger. So, and they last longer. So, all right, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys all later.